Opening email attachments is the digital equivalent of Russian roulette. I think it's safe to say that. So says, anyway, the data doctor Ken Colburn. But what do you do when you get a message with an attachment that you think might be legit, but you aren't really sure? Ken joins us now via the web with more on this. I mean, this is a problem all computer users have, especially when you get email from family, friends, or whomever. You just don't know.
Exactly, and guys like us have been saying for 10 years, don't open file attachments, and you're going, well, what about the ones that I think are legit? What do I do there?
So what happens? How do you know?
Well, if you remember in the early stages, it was don't open file attachments unless you know the person that sent it to you, right? So then the bad guys figured out how to do what's called email spoofing, where they make it look like it's coming from somebody you know because they're taking over people's address books and randomly picking somebody as the sender. So that no longer applies. So now you have this don't open any file attachments, and then you say, well, this might be something I want, so what can you do? And that's what we're going to tell people today. Here's a safe way to take that message and get a second opinion from somebody else before you decide to open that attachment.
Apparently, Ken, there is actually a website out there that can assist you with problems like these.
Exactly. There's this neat little service out there. It's absolutely free. It's a company called VirusTotal, and you can literally take any message that has an attachment and forward it to them and change the subject line to scan. So you're asking their automated system to scan your email, and the step-by-step directions we have posted on our website. But the idea is you send it to them and they actually scan that message and that attachment with over 35 different antivirus programs and then send you back an email with a report as to whether it found anything or not.
Okay, and how long does that normally take?
In all the tests that I've done, 3 to 5 minutes in general, you'll get that back.
Okay, that's not bad, because what can happen if you do open an attachment that has a virus?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of real common ones going around that are fooling a lot of people. There's one that looks like you've booked an airline seat and it's saying your credit card is going to be charged $435 and here's your receipt. A lot of people are booking flights right now, so they're just without thinking, they're opening up the attachment going, well, what is this that I booked, or what's this airline ticket business? And unfortunately, because they're catching people off guard, they're getting very crafty. They're getting people to open those attachments. The same thing with there's a very common UPS shipping scam going around saying if you want to be able to get your shipment, open up this attachment. In those cases, I mean, those companies, your airline tickets never come in the form of an attachment, so that's the first kind of key. But if you did think it was legitimate, you would just take that message, forward it to scan@virustotal.com, and replace the subject line with the word scan, send it off, and it'll send it back to you and tell you, yeah, we found something or we didn't find anything. And then from there you can, open up the attachment if it's clean.
Okay, and my ears are ringing here because you did say free, correct?
Absolutely free.
And it doesn't matter how many files you send?
No, but it is important that you understand you're sending it to a system where there are human beings involved. So if the attachment is it contains sensitive personal information like social security number, things like that, or sensitive company information like internal and proprietary information, you might want to think twice before sending it off, because you really don't, once you send it off, you don't have any control over who has access to that attachment.
Okay, and that leads us to your prescription for the week. What is it?
The prescriptions, first and foremost, evaluate the message first before you make any decisions about an attachment, especially from the people you know. The easiest way to get fooled is from either somebody that you think you know or from a big company that's being spoofed in the message. Things like misspellings, bad grammar, short, real kind of generalized messages that don't seem to make sense. That's the first cue. Maybe there's something going on. If you think it's legitimate, but you want to make sure, forward a copy of the message to scan@virustotal.com and put the word scan in the subject line and get a second opinion from 3537. It's interesting to see the report, too, because it shows that some virus programs will catch infections, some don't. So it kind of tells you the differences. And then again, don't use this service for sensitive information. If you've got personal information, social security numbers, things like that, when you send the attachment off, these people are compiling this information. You just don't know what's going to happen with those files, so be very careful when you decide to use this service.